fits with
the scene or like the anime in general.
No, because they make a whole thing out of the opening themes, right, for animes. They always do something different and cool every time they're changing it up. And I was like, this song and the way it was going, in the beginning it started off cool, but then as it was going, I was like, this doesn't match the action that I'm seeing. And I know they're like only like 1 minute little things, but to me, I consider the opening themes of anime like a little piece of art. Like,
yeah,
I love them. I love looking at them at first. Like whenever they change one, I'm always like, oh, I have to watch it, focus on it. Maybe watch it for a few episodes and I can skip them.
I agree. They are like works of art. And not just anime. Like, if it's a really good... well, not just a good TV show. There are good TV shows where they don't, like, concentrate on the openings. But then there are ones where you're like, Game of Thrones. That opening, amazing.
I'm not going to lie to you. I love I'm very impressed with the opening for House of Dragon.
What was it for House of the Dragon?
The House of Dragon one is hard for me to follow because of the blood. Like, it's just the blood going everywhere.
Okay.
I like that. I prefer it to how they're doing it, but I definitely love the opening for Game of Thrones better because I can follow the house thing. Like, when you see the changes and stuff for what's happening, you can see it clearly that, you can track what's been happening in the show based off of the opening theme.
Really?
Yeah.
I never paid attention.
I pay
usually
attention.
Skipped it.
That's why, because I like watching it because I love the theme song. Dun, 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 dun. I love it so much.
I did, but
every
like
season they change it up to show you stuff.
Dang it.
Every season they change it up, or especially when something fire happens, they change it and it reflects in the opening thing. And I just think it's a cool little Easter egg type thing,
because
and I always love it.
If the beginning looks the same, then I assume it's the same.
No,
and then I just like skip it. So I'm like, they haven't changed it.
Are we recording now?
Yeah. Girl.
Okay. Hey everybody, sorry y'all. We had like a long talk. You supposed to cue me this time. Dang, Whitney.
No,
you doing your job, girl.
It's good when we start in media res.
Yeah, I know, but I like to tell them we just getting in the weeds.
You don't even know how long we were going, girl.
I don't know. That's why I was like, they don't even know. We need to like cut in and be like, hey everybody, what's up? This is BlerdTalk with Bola and Whitney.
And it's your girl over here.
Okay, I'm Triple F Queen Bola.
And I'm No Tagline Whit.
And you guys, as I said at the top, well, not the top, in the middle, whatever this is. This is BlerdTalk with Bola and Whitney. We're two blurred nerd girls that are talking about our own opinions of life stuff and mostly entertainment media.
Precisely.
Yeah, but we have some other topics and segments that we do. Mostly talking about the shows and stuff and movies.
Yep.
But I have a topics of blackness today an issue that I'd like us to discuss.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So what should we do first, Whitney?
You go first with your topics in blackness, girl.
All right. But today, since you heard us talking about anime and everything, so this episode is about anime again because we're anime nerds. And we are going to review the new movie that's out in theaters right now, anime movie by Makoto Shinkai, and it's called Suzume. Damn. So mad because there's a character in Naruto called Suzume, and I was talking about Naruto as I got in my head. My bad. It's called Suzume. Shoot, that was terrible. All right, we talking about Suzume, y'all. This is gonna be a podcast clip. I already know, right?
You know what?
Whitney, you talk now. Why don't you talk now?
Which I thought you were doing topics in blackness.
Oh Lord!
But thank you for introducing our topic.
Yeah,
second time's charm.
Terribly. Yo, can we just cut all that?
Nah, girl, that's what makes it
Whitney
spicy.
don't even care. Like, she was like, you can just be all messing up. She does not do any editing. She's like, no, we're just gonna leave it. And I'm like, damn.
I do editing. I just don't edit out stuff.
That's what I'm saying. You can edit out some stuff anyway.
I don't think it. Well, I know there are some philosophies on podcasting where people edit out stuff, but I modeled it myself more so on what's his name? Michael so and so.
She's too lazy to do it.
It's called the Solopreneur Hour with Michael O'Neill. So I modeled my style off of him because I like conversational shows and stuff that's not overly edited. And I think the cool stuff happens.
With me having a super blunder. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I like stuff. I like people being human.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get into something. Well, I'm going to get into my topics in blackness. Topics in blackness. Blackness. All right, y'all. So I have to bring this up because I don't really have that much to blurt out about today. But I want to bring up two things. Not going to talk too much about this first one, but I just want to mention how lately there's been a lot of like gun violence killings, like being in the wrong place killings for no reason. But particularly the one that happened to the young boy, last name is Yarl. I just like really, one, I definitely think it was racial, even though the rest of the ones that happened this week have shown no racist attack. It's just shown how far the depravity of man has gone, where you can't even make a mistake without being shot in this country. It's really, to me, it's just very disturbing where the country's going. The obsessiveness of guns is, I think, I don't know if, to me personally, I would say I don't think the Second Amendment serves the country anymore with all this craziness, because people don't know how to act. But I just really, really, really hope that the young black man that got shot for no reason really gets justice, because even at the moment, the guy who shot him is claiming innocence still. Like, not, he's basically playing not guilty. And I'm like, how are you going to be not guilty when you shot the boy one time? He was already down on the floor. You said to him that don't be around here or get from around here, and then you shot him again in the arm. How are you not guilty? But they let him go because they're like, he's a wizened old man, 80 years old. He didn't know what he's doing. No, he knew exactly what he's doing. Because I assure you, if a white person came to his door and had the same issue, he would have been nice and not brought out his gun. But
wait, what was the issue? Black, he came to his door. He was lost or something?
The young boy he's a teenager in high school. He came to pick up his two younger brothers who were just kids. He went to the wrong address. So he rang on the doorbell. And instead of this man us telling him, oh, you're at the wrong house, you need to go away, he just shot him through the door.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. He didn't care. The boy just rang the door and waited and asked if he didn't know he was at the wrong house. He just had to pick up his younger siblings. And this old 80-year-old white man took a gun, shot him through the door for no reason. Shot him right in the head.
Oh, my God.
Yep. He was on the ground, needing help, and he was like, what are you doing? And then the guy said, you need to get from around here, shot him again in the arm. And I'm like, to me, I definitely think it was a hate crime. I definitely think it was a racial thing. And he got arrested, but he was let go hours, like just 2 hours after he got arrested. And it wasn't until people were protesting nationally and how big this thing became that they took him back in custody. They originally let him go.
Oh, my God.
That's America for you. And what I really didn't like was that I don't know what neighborhood the guy was in, but the boy was bleeding out of his arm, out of his head, and it took him asking for help, like for 3 different people, for somebody to see him on the ground and finally help him. This white person came and helped him. But he went to like 3 different doors and nobody tried to help him. And I was like, I don't know what kind of neighborhood he was in. I thank God for the white person that did step out to help him, because I'm pretty sure he was in maybe that kind of neighborhood. And I was like, I can't believe you see somebody bleeding and just at least call the police. It's a sad day where you just like, your automatic response is like, even if you were afraid for your life, all you have to do is call the police then. Like, you didn't even have to shoot the boy for no reason. But that's what's been going on. And all the other attacks that happened this week, or where the other people died. Well, it's not this week for you guys. It was last week, because you're going to hear this on Thursday. This Thursday coming up. But for all the other kids, all the kids that were shot or killed or like injured, they were young people, and they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. One girl was turning into, she was a white girl. She was driving in New York. She went in the wrong driveway. And from the porch, this old white dude shot her and killed her.
Oh, my God.
No reason. She was just in the wrong driveway, and she was turning around. He shot her through the porch. Another one happened where the Spanish dude, these 2 white cheerleaders, one is mixed actually, they were going to their car. They got in the wrong car by accident. As they were apologizing and leaving, the Spanish dude shot the both cheerleaders. One of them is in critical condition in the hospital. The other one just had a graze on her leg. But the other girl that's in critical condition, her spleen had to be removed. She already was only born with 1 lung. I really hope she gets out of hospital safe. And then another one that happened this week was, this time this black guy shot at this white family. They rolled, I think the little girl was like 5 years old. She rolled some toy into his garage or his side of the house or whatever. And they were trying to get it back, but the black guy just started shooting at them. and injure the child. The child has a big scar on her face.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, all week. Like, it's like all of these things are just small little accidents, and we're just like triggering. I don't know. I just had to talk about it because I was like, it's really bad to me that you can't even make mistakes now. You can't even like, they were all just like, oh, I went to the wrong house. I was in the wrong driveway. I went to the wrong car. Things that normally you wouldn't lose your life for. You'd be like, oh, it's a mistake. Let me leave. Let me go. Oh, I'm at the wrong house. Thank you for letting me know. Maybe I got that text message wrong. Mm-hmm. Just stuff like that. You think he could have died. Thank God the black boy, that the guy shot him for racist reasons. Mm-hmm. Thank God he's still alive. Because a head injury, like point blank mo from through the glass of his front doors, just shot him twice. I just was like, the second one makes you not guilty to me. The first one is not guilty, but the second one, you should definitely not be pleading no not guilty because you didn't have to shoot him again.
But it's interesting because of these 3 stories that you've said, it seems probable that the thing with the black guy was probably racially motivated. Mm-hmm. But then the thing with the white girl, and he just shot from the porch.
Just 20-year-old. Her dad was
like,
on TV.
That was
terrible.
Pretty. That seems kind of pretty similar. Like, I don't know you, so I'm just going to shoot you. So maybe it was just a like, I don't know you, so I'm going to shoot you. So
that's what I'm saying. Like the fact, and then the other one was a Spanish guy who shot the 2 cheerleaders, and one was white, one was mixed. Mm-hmm. But she looks more white than mixed. But it doesn't matter. But I was like, the Spanish guy shouldn't have shot those girls. They came to the wrong car. They were actually apologizing. Mm-hmm. They were like, oh, we're sorry. He didn't care. He just shot him. And I just think it says something. I wanted to more focus on the one with the black boy because that one to me definitely has like, that's not even undertones. It's just racially like motivated. And of the fact that he went in, he definitely shot this boy and they let him go. They weren't going to charge him at all for nothing. And I'm like, so this boy's fighting for his life in the hospital for not doing anything. He was unarmed. He's a teenager. He like plays saxophone. He just came to pick up his younger. He's like 16. Mm-hmm. What are you thinking? Like, I just think it was to me it was not fair. So I really hope that I'm glad that people spoke up, that it got such national attention because he would have just been at home free.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're not saying because the point I was trying to make is that the white dude who shot the white girl in the car could have been like the same situation as the white dude who shot the black dude, but you're saying the fact that they didn't even arrest him was racially motivated.
Yes,
I gotcha. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that definitely seems
because they weren't going to, and they didn't like they put once he did get arrested, they let him go as if he did nothing, and it wasn't until this case got national news and it went everywhere for what happened to him. His parents went online. That's when people are like, oh no, you need to go back to jail. Like, if it was a black person that did that, he would not be let go at all.
Right.
But because he was an old white dude and he could claim that, I was afraid for my life. The boy had no gun. He just rang the doorbell. Mm-hmm. He wasn't be like, bitch, come out here. He wasn't none of that. He just rang the doorbell. I just want to pick up my little brothers. Mm-hmm. I'm like, everybody does that. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to go pick up my siblings, pick up my child, and you die? Like, I mean, thank God he didn't die, but his speech is very much impaired. Like, he can't really talk. I'm glad that he's at home, but he's traumatized. His parents came on the thing and he's very traumatized by this. And I just think is ridiculous. But I had to bring that one up because it was like back to back all this week. Mm-hmm. Bam, bam, bam. It was like each day, like one was happening, the next one, the next one, the next one. I was like, this is too much.
It's awful. It just makes...
I feel
like I'm almost like desensitized to it to a certain point.
That's the problem.
But then I just think about the world we live in for like my nephews. I'm like, I don't want this to be their world.
Thank you. Me too. I'm afraid for them. Like, I'm afraid for my nieces every day that they have to go to school. Like, because you never know when somebody crazy is going to be, and then they keep saying mental illness. It's like, we can't monitor when someone's going to have a breakdown. What you can do is you can put a ban on assault rifles because I don't think regular citizens need assault rifles. These are war weapons to me. You don't need assault rifles for everyday use. I really don't see the point of them unless you're trying to do some mass killing, which is what they've been proving to do in this country. I don't know. I mean, other countries have had mass shootings, and the proof shows that when they ban the assault rifles, they have no more mass shootings. No more. Check Scotland, check New Zealand. Those are the things. They've had mass shootings. One time, and as soon as they had those mass shootings, they banned assault rifles, snatched them up, bought them back, and they have 0 mass shootings since then. But this country, no.
I'm kind of... I have like a...
I just think we need to ban assault rifles. I ain't say all guns, but just all assault rifles. Because they do the most destruction. Everybody's using the same kind of gun, assault rifles, to do all these mass shootings.
I have a kind of like gray thoughts on that. Because on one hand, it doesn't seem like any regular citizen really needs to have assault rifles.
I agree.
But on the other hand, I do think about the fact that like the reason for the Second Amendment is to have the right to protect yourself against your government if they turn.
Is your government going to come after you with a gun? Like,
I mean, for us as a people, they already have. So, like, for, like, that to me is, like, why they came up with it. And granted, like, I don't think it's going to really do you that much good if you like the government.
But assault rifles weren't even invented back then. That's what I'm saying. And the founders, I hate to say this to everyone, but the founders did not think anyone but the rich, well-knowledged white people were going to be in power. They did not think all the people that have power now were going to be. That's why I'm like, we need to rethink some things and let it come into the modern era. We need to have laws that serve our modern era now. And I don't think this country, we have more guns in this country than people. To me, I'm like, why? What's the point? And then people now all over the world are like, oh, America's unsafe. I'm not going to travel to America. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to either. Like, you can die at any place you're going to now. You can die. It could just hit you suddenly because no one has a respect for life
if
anymore.
Other countries are like, developed countries,
but
democratic,
they have less
not
shooting.
Fascist governments aren't having like those issues after removing something like that.
The gun issues we have.
Then that is definitely major points
in the column of every week.
People don't need to have. I understand and I support the reasoning behind it as far as being able to protect yourself against your government if your government turns on you. But I do agree that like in modern times, in America as it stands, America as it stands isn't looking all that hot all the time, but from a standpoint of your government doing that to you, I think that it doesn't seem like a modern threat where that is the necessary solution.
I mean, I will leave it here so we can move on to much happier things, but I just look at it like even the government they should fear their people. But if you look at the insurrection, just imagine if all those people had their assault rifles with them. I don't think any of those congressmen would have got out alive at all if the way it was really going. But it's because not all of them brought their assault rifles. But those people did. If they did have those AK, whatever they call them, it would have been on. Then they should have had fear. Then the government itself would have been like, oh, the people are taking over. Then it would have been a full-on insurrection. Point.
Like, people shouldn't fear their... I think that's actually part of... Said that. People shouldn't fear their government. Government should fear their people. Was that V for Vendetta? I don't know. But, like, you're right. I think... that is a good point. I think that if everybody was like in that mindset, that it's almost like mutually assured destruction. Like just everybody's gonna be dead.
But my thing is, like you said, I'm looking at it like, what are we doing in America? Like where kids and everybody's just like, oh, we're desensitizing, but we're literally allowing our children to be killed every so and so. People are just dying so and so for no reason. But it's because of the access. Like that guy like the upper week, there was a guy that like did a mass shooting at a bank because he was mad because he got let go. So he went to the bank and shot up and killed everybody. Like that was literally this month. And I'm like, what was the point of like everybody can snap and be pissed off, But it's like because he had the access to the gun, you can't say he had a mental problem. He was just mad and pissed off that he lost a job. And if he had just been able to chill, maybe he'd be like, well, I have to deal with it. But because he could, because he had access to the gun, I can plan this, I can execute it, and nobody's going to stop me. Because he did the damage. He killed a bunch of people in the bank for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Anybody has the potential to snap.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody does. So to me, the common denominator is really the guns because we can't control or even when people are going to snap. Mm-hmm. Mental health issues, you keep saying that or video games are the problem. I mean, you can't monitor these things, but you can not have so many guns that we do have. I just think it's a country this large. It's like now it's like you're not going to be able to go anywhere without feeling unsafe. Mm-hmm. Or we all might need to like wear bulletproof outfits and suits now. Just to go anywhere because people could be like, oh, I'm going to be pissed off with you or I'm not going to care. You came at my car like we saw this whole week. People just made mistakes and they just got shot for no reason. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. When it gets to this point, it's like, what kind of country are we going to have? The Bible says, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Mm-hmm. And I think because America keeps choosing to live by the gun, we're constantly dying by the gun. Ooh. And that's what I'm saying. Like we're sacrificing our children to the gun on the altar of the gun laws, the gun lobbyists, the NRA, all this stuff. And I'm like, do we want a safe country or do we want to just have guns? Like just everybody needs to think about that. Mm-hmm. Because now I'm like, other countries, at least they don't have to deal with this. Mm-hmm. I remember when the school shooting for the children happened, the recent one at the one lady, she came from overseas. Her husband's in the military. And she had her child. Luckily, nothing happened to her child. But she was saying on the news, she was like, this is why I didn't want to come to this country. She's like, this country could be great, but the guns make it so unsafe and crazy. And she said, if my husband wasn't in the military, I would never choose to come to America. And I was like, this is a foreign lady saying that. And it's like, you couldn't say nothing because she was literally picking up her son because a mass shooting happened in her school. Mm-hmm. And she's like, this is exactly why I didn't want to come here. Mm-hmm. And it happened to her. People were trying to escape these kind of things. And it keeps happening. And no one seems to be like, we can't solve this. But just because people don't want to do what's necessary. Have the courage, the discipline, the wisdom. We all know what's necessary, but people don't want to do it. That's what I think. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that.
You, girl. No, that
I just wanted to bring it up, Whitney, because it was really bothering me this week.
Talking point, because you're right. Like, America the Great, it's not looking so great now, and it is stuff that can be done that's just not.
My thing is, at least you don't have to worry about running to the grocery store just to get like some spaghetti, and then you die. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or you in church, and some crazy person just wants to, or you getting some money at the bank for something, you can die. Like,
that's interesting
because
like
crazy.
It's a thought I had when I went to see our main topic for today. I went to the theater, and I sat down in my favorite spot, which is behind like the bars where like the handicap section is.
I sat there too.
Yeah.
My theater was empty.
My theater was, no, I thought it was going to be completely empty, but then 2 people came in, but that was it. It was just me and those 2 people.
When I watched Suzume, when I watched Suzume, my theater was completely empty. And I was like, I've never like gone in a theater and nobody's in there before. And that was cool to me.
That was going to be me. Because, like, when I ordered because I got my ticket right before I went in, because I was, like, looking and I'm like, nobody's really coming here to see Suzume. Mm-hmm.
Especially at the time, too.
Yeah, I guess. But then, like, 2 people came in, I'm like, well, that's surprising. Mm-hmm. But, like, as I sat down, I thought to myself, I'm like, if somebody comes in here with a gun, I am not ideally positioned. I am completely exposed. And it's sad that that's, like, the kind of a thought process that runs or can run through your head like
me. I just always say a prayer first. I know not everybody believes in Jesus or God, but for me, I take my anointing oil and I put it over my head before I leave the house, because otherwise I would feel afraid to go anywhere. I would, because like to me, it's only the grace of God that we are all like living and doing things. And like now I went to a bridal shower, I saw my family, everybody's doing good. But what if somebody was just around the neighborhood and just decided to be like, I see people, I'm gonna shoot y'all up? They could have done it. And there's no way to stop them. Even this week, like it was a Sweet 16 party this week, and somebody brought a gun, killed all the people in there.
Oh my God.
Yes. It was a bunch of black people, and it was in Mobile, Alabama. It was a Sweet 16 party. Shot up the whole place. So many kids lost their lives. People that had scholarships. Even the brother of the celebrant died. Her older brother, who was just about to go to school. He had a scholarship to go to college. His life is gone. And he just like, we need to value people more. Value our lives, value our safety, and then all these other things. Even then the guns. Like, to me, I see it as idol worship. I'm like, we are so attached to this thing that we're like, instead of choosing our nation's like safety, we're not. And I was like, this is the biggest threat to America right now. We're over there worrying about China and all that, and banning TikTok and everything, when the biggest threat to Americans right now is these guns. And how freely they are, and how we can't control when people want to do stuff. But we can control how many guns there are, or what types there are, because handguns are not going to cause as much damage as a rifle, and you can just be blah, 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 and do mass killing. You know what I mean? I just think of the children that they living in fear. They have to do these drills. We only had to do tornado drills back when we were in school. Yeah. We never did no active shooter drills. Never.
Yeah, and now it's part of, like, I work for the state, and it's, like, part of the state, like, the annual training.
Every year, I have to remember.
Every year, you have to do the active shooter training. Yes. And I'm like, I was talking to some coworkers, like, this past week, or it might have been last week, and it was like, yeah, we got to do these freaking active shooter trainings all the time. It's like, yeah, blah, 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 you got to run. I'm like, run? I thought you were supposed to hide. And I'm like, oh, I guess this is why they do the thing every year, because I can't remember what the protocol is.
So now, first one, you got to run. If you can't run, then you hide. If you can't hide, then I forget what the last one is.
Fight or something?
Yeah, fight. Yeah. Maybe the first one is fight. No, the first one is run, then hide. Those are but if your way is blocked, that's when you have to fight. If they're in the room with you, try and find whatever you can. But it's like for different scenarios. They want you to run first. If you can't get out, just get out. And then if you can't run, then they want you to hide next. And then if you can't hide, then you have to fight.
But just to wrap this topic up with something slightly more humorous, one of the now I don't always find Chris Rock to be the funniest dude. But one of his comedy segments from like decades ago, I thought was kind of hilarious and kind of a poignant point. He was like, you know how we could solve gun violence? He was like, make every bullet $100. And that way, if somebody gets shot, it's like, he must have really deserved that.
Right? That's messed up. That's messed up. With inflation now, we got to say, make a bullet like 200.
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. All right. My second topic in Blackness, I'm just gonna briefly mention is I don't know if you heard about Jonathan Majors and all the issues going on with him. So, I mean, when I'm talking about They Harder They Fall is so appropriate right now because I watched on the internet today, not today, but like this past week, saying that now more women and more victims have come out.
Oh my God.
About allegations of abuse against him.
And that's so sad because I still held out hope that maybe he was innocent.
Me too. And now I was like, my thing was, at first I'm like, okay, are they just trying to take a black man down? Like, did he just talk the wrong people? Because you never know. He was just doing a little too well.
Right.
He could have made some people mad. People can set him up. And I'm not trying to be like, I don't believe women. But, I mean, to me, I just can't stand it when it's like the floodgates of like one happens and then there's like 5 more women coming out. And I'm like, well, dang.
Wow.
But then if he really did it, I can't look at him the same way because, hey, if you're an abuser, you're an abuser. Okay? And I'm like, that's not cool. So now I'm just like, my thing is, the thing I've been sending, I sent people this on Instagram when I saw that more allegations from different women came. And I was like, well, I guess no more Kang. That's what I'm worried about.
I mean, we'll probably have just like a recast. Kang would be my, because like with it being multiverse, like they could probably, I would think they would probably recast.
I just feel so bad because I'm like, the guy's talented.
Yeah, and that was so sad.
And I liked watching him.
And he was blowing up. And I was just like, when I heard the news, I was like so disappointed.
Me too.
Still slightly hopeful, like maybe it's not true.
Me too.
Because they're like, oh, there's like a text message where the woman's saying it's her fault. And I was like, some slight hope, but at the same time, somebody saying it's my fault, that sounds more like victim mentality where they're trying to protect their abuser.
He is now like lost. He has been let go from his PR agency.
And his
He's been fired from the next 2 movies that he was signed on to. He's been fired. And right now, the MCU people have not said anything. So anybody telling you right now, even though I said, "Oh, no more King," I'm not. I was just saying it as a. He might lose the job, but it hasn't been said. No statements have been made by Kevin Feige or any of them. None of them are saying that he's been replaced or getting replaced. But he's lost his other jobs and all his endorsements.
From what I read, crazy. They were people think they are holding out to see if he actually gets acquitted because. Well, I don't know what the more recent news, but his lawyer felt pretty confident that they could win.
With the first one. But when this,
I don't know if this is taking into account these multiple women. So now I'm just
it was more than one too, and it was more than one. They said multiple women have come out with allegations of abuse, and I was like, well, damn. Either he's getting set up real bad, or he's getting exposed real bad. And I was just like, damn, another one.
And when I read when it said that, she said that it was her fault, I'm like. That wording seems suspect because someone saying it was my fault, someone saying, "Oh, I was the one who hit him and he defended himself."
Right.
That's one thing, but saying it's my fault, that's like a battered victim, like a battered wife saying, "Oh no, I made it's my fault for making him mad." And I'm like, "No, this seems kind of like that."
Mm-hmm. And so the fact that more women came out, I was just like, man. His career is finished, and he was so bright. I was just like, "Damn."
He was such a rising star.
I'm upset, to be honest with you.
I'm upset too. I'm so disappointed. So talented, and he had such potential on the rise, and it's just
But for real, Jonathan Majors, if you abuse these women, you need to pay. You need to pay for it because we're not abusing women out here.
You got to do your time, and people can change.
People can,
but you
can come back.
You got to put in the work.
Yeah, and you got to take the consequences.
This seems to have been recent, so that doesn't tell me that you have changed.
Right.
But you can. But dude, this is gonna be
it's gonna be hard to come back. Look at Kevin Spacey. Well, this one, Kevin Spacey. He cannot revive his career. There's nothing he can do to revive his career. Nothing.
It's I was like, oh, when's the last time I heard of Kevin Spacey?
When he talks about his court cases and shit. That's it. Because every time I hear him now, it's and he wants to come back. But it's it's all over. Lori Loughlin and that other lady from Desperate Housewives, they can't revive their careers after that whole college scandal thing where they paid for their kids to get into school. They can't revive their careers. There's nothing they can do.
Just toxic.
They're gone. Hallmark done lost their favorite, their favorite lady. Lori Loughlin is out.
I don't usually watch Hallmark movies, so I didn't realize
that
she was
that's
a
what
big,
she does. Hallmark movies. She's out. She ain't on there no more. Anyway, but I had to bring up these topics. All right,
You're
y'all.
toxic, I'm slipping under.
All right, let's get into Blerdout. 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 All right, I'm going to go because I only have this one brief thing because I really want to get into Suzume. But I literally had to the 90s were full of such wonderful TV, movies, everything.
Oh,
and I remember
Wonderful World of Disney.
Yeah, I remember all the cartoons and everything. But, there were so many shows and things we watched. And you were just talking about how kids now, I think you just mentioned something that made me think of what it was, of bringing this up. So my sister sent me a clip of a show I used to absolutely love when I was a child. And I could not you can't find it anywhere to rewatch it. There was for those who were not born in the 90s or those even born in 2000s, back in the 90s and in the early 2000s, there were a lot of shows for kids that featured puppets. It's not so much a thing now, but there were so many awesome shows like Allegra's Window, Bear in the Big Blue House, and then Eureka's Castle, Sesame Street. Was Sesame Street still on? That's the only one. Barney's not really a puppet, but I'm not gonna include that one because he's not a puppet.
Lamb Chops?
Lamb Chop was a puppet, but my favorite one was PBS's The Puzzle Place.
I don't think I ever saw that.
The Puzzle Place, The Puzzle Place. We're going to the puzzle place. Sizzle and Nuzzle are a double treat, and the Peace Police are on the. I'm telling you, When I say I adored that show with a passion, and I always wanted to watch it all the time. Mm-hmm. And the puzzles were very lifelike. They were all like multiracial kids, puppets. Like there was like Julie was the Asian one, Kiki was the Spanish one, Leon was the black one. There was 2 white ones, Ben and Jody, and then Sky was the Native American. And I just used to love their show with a passion. I haven't heard of that show or seen anything on it in like 20 years. And my sister found a Instagram account that was all about the 90s, just the clips of the show or like clips of the theme songs. Because, the 90s, all the cartoons and things we used to watch, they had such memorable theme songs that I watched this and I wanted to cry. Because I can't really vocalize it. I don't know why it touched me so much. But I was like, I literally watched it 20 times. Just the opening theme. Because I felt like I was in my happy place. And I was like, oh, my heart, I loved it. And I literally went back to being a kid. And I'm not going to lie to you. I spent the next 2 hours just going down his whole Instagram channel. And I watched all these shows that we used to watch back in the day. Things I don't even like look at anymore. Just watching the opening theme. He would have clips of the opening theme or like different things about cereal that we used to eat back in the day. The commercials we used to like back in the day. Like you're talking about, he opened the vault on some of that stuff. Stickly stuff from New York.
Oh, snap.
Write to me. Stickly, P.O. Box 963, New York City, New York State, 10108. Like, just stuff like that from Nickelodeon.
Wow.
He went through the vault. Shows that Bonkers, all these shows I used to watch back in the day. You're remembering. I swear to you, if I show you this channel, what is this account? I spent 2 hours on this, Whitney.
We'll put it in the show notes, you guys.
Everything.
Now that makes me like think of like other nostalgic.
Kablam. Like, Salute Your Shorts, Pete and Pete music. Oh my God.
I love Guts
was on there too. I was like, I literally had like a feel. I was in a happy place. I literally felt joy. Nobody could. All because she sent me that one thing, and I was so happy to reminisce. And then the Gullah Gullah Island's on there too, Whitney. I haven't seen Eureka's Castle, Miss Frizzle, all those openings. I haven't seen them in so long. Thank you. I haven't seen them in so long. But it was like stuff that we really haven't seen for like 20 years. Yeah. And I was like, man. And I went through and I was like, wow, we have so much stuff. TV, classic, awesome. Some of it's a little crazy. Because you're looking at like, why did we watch Ren and Stimpy? Or why did we watch Cat Dog? But we did. And it was beautiful, Yeah. Secret World of Alex Mack. This is real cheesy, but I watched it. Yeah. I loved it, Oh my God. The second one that came up was, what's his name? Have you ever watched
I loved Rocko's
Skeeter?
Modern Life.
Did you watch Skeeter? Skeeter's the one for me. He knows how. Wait,
was he a puppet?
He was also a puppet.
Yeah. I think I do remember Skeeter.
Skeeter on. Oh my God, I forget what the show was called, but he was on there, and I remember the 702, the band that sang that song. I used to love that song. Megan Good is on that show. Oh, yeah. That other guy with the really pretty eyes. I forgot his name, but Bill Bellamy always did the puppet voice for Skeeter. And I was like, you guys are going down the vault. Y'all going down. I swear, I went through this. I was like, I forgot about Bonkers. I forgot about Animaniacs. I forgot about Darkwing Duck. All these shows.
Darkwing Duck. Oh my God. I loved Darkwing Duck.
I mean, I literally.
Oh my God.
So
that reminds me. Another one that I really love the theme song. Oh, tailspin. Oh, me too. Tailspin. Another tailspin.
And I just have to say, my nieces
I
are
love
watching.
how you're another one who also doesn't know what that part is.
Me neither. I had to say, I love that my nieces are watching Powerpuff Girls now. They are. And I was like, yes, because y'all need some cartoons, because my nieces don't watch cartoons.
The commander and the leader.
They come to my house and they're watching crap on YouTube.
Wonder, Buttercup. And she's the toughest fighter.
Powerpuff save the day.
Fighting crime, trying to save the world. Here they come just in time. The Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff.
I mean,
oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. I looked at it and I was like, these are classic. And I was going through all the comments. I was commenting with folks. We were all agreeing, like, I thought the same. I was like, I watched the cat dog one, right? And I was like, man, I love cat dog. And I was like, did anybody remember that you tried to figure out how do they poop? And then I would see right above me, somebody posted the same thing. I never knew, how did they go to the bathroom? I'd be like, did anybody think this puppet was hot? I was like, yes, me too. I thought Sky was so fine. We used to fight over him. It was just like, oh, man. I'm going to get the name for you. Whitney can blurt out now. But that's the only thing I'm blurting out about.
Yes. We will put it in the show notes because I'm sure everybody who are blurs like us will be like...
I mean, just if you grew up in the 90s, nostalgia is all we have. Because if you look at... I saw a TikTok. I'm going to say this. I saw a TikTok or Instagram reel. I can't remember which one it was. That talked about, why are millennials so nostalgic? Like, they're always talking about the 90s and the early stuff. And I'm like... And then they were like, it's because that's all we had. If you look at it, they look like all the tragedy and bad things that happened since the 2000s.
Oh, damn.
And it's like, things just kept going. You just list them. Bam, 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 9/11. Bam, 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 2008, the housing crisis. And all these things, and you're just like, it just hasn't gotten better. Pandemic. And they're like, the 90s were all we have. I was like, yes, damn, it's so true. Anyway, all right, you can go ahead, Whitney, because I'm just like...
Now I'm just all up in my head about these different shows.
I'm going to share it with you because you need to go through there. Just take an hour. And I was just reminiscing.
Which one was
Alvin
the show with Camp
Anawana? Camp Anawana, Salute Your Shorts.
Salute Your Shorts. Okay.
I'm telling you, like, it was beautiful.
Do you remember the two brothers?
Pete and Pete.
Pete and Pete.
Yep. Remember the song? I was listening to the music, and I remember that Artie, the smartest man in the world. Or maybe he's the bravest man. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
And then their mom had a plate in her head.
That always freaked me out. Like that one episode where they bounced, like they needed to get the garage door shut, and they bounced the signal off her plate. I was like,
so silly. And then the music was good. I used to love their theme songs. Like all the songs back then,
they were pretty fire. That's when people used to put effort into their theme songs.
Right. Even the weird cartoons.
Now only animes put their effort into their theme songs.
Right. All right. I'm going to let you go, Whitney. You go ahead while I look for the name of this thing.
You've gone like deep down hole now.
I'm telling you. I'm going to give y'all all this YouTube channel because
we are deep down in Underland now.
Instagram account because y'all have to go and like them up because...
Yes, because I want to just revisit to remember some of the stuff I've forgotten about.
That's what I'm saying. Me too. I was like, man, I haven't thought about Bonkers in a long time. I used to love that, man. And Darkwing Duck. I haven't thought about those shows in ages.
I love Darkwing Duck.
And I was like, Shaw, do you remember this? Do you remember this? Do you remember this? I was like, oh, Reading Rainbow and like Ghost Rider. Where? Oh my gosh, man.
Dude, I used to love. And just because I said it, I'm blanking on how the song went. But Reading Rainbow was another like really good.
Let me not.
Yes. Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, the Reading Rainbow. I can do anything. Take a look, it's in a book, the Reading Rainbow. Reading Rainbow.
You're supposed to go Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow.
Okay, we're done.
Sorry.
Sorry, y'all. We messed it up. We messed it up so bad.
Man. But those were the days.
Oh, man.
Dude.
They just have way better TV, like Beetlejuice.
I used to love
the teen
Beetlejuice.
Movies, like,
Beetlejuice was so good. I used to love the Little Mermaid cartoon.
Hey Dude. I'm just looking at it now. Like Hey Dude and Samurai Cyber. I didn't even know if I watched this show.
Did you ever watch Beetleborgs?
Yeah.
Dude,
I remember that too.
Ah, man.
It's just, okay, so it's called 90s Kids Throwback. That's the name of the channel on the Instagram account. And you can just go on there, like even stuff from Cousin Skeeter, Danny Phantom, The Babysitters Club, Amanda, like Free Willy, Rocko's Modern Life, Scooby-Doo, Eureka's Castle, Hey Arnold, all these things we used to love. Casper, all these things. The Dragon Tales, Keenan and Kel, Out of the Box.
Was it called Dinosaurs? You remember that?
Yeah, Dinosaurs and the Gargoyles. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Gargoyles.
Gargoyles was an amazing
Gargoyles
show.
was
even
like, oh my god.
Action League Now. Do you remember this from Kablam, Nickelodeon? This is the most random. I'm gonna send it to you. Anyway,
I remember Action Man though, from like Fox.
I'm gonna send it to you.
Like because Saturday morning cartoons.
I Am Weasel.
Yes, and IR Baboon.
It's been so many years. And IR Baboon. I'm like, oh my god, I've been seeing this stupid show so.
in Dexter's Lab.
Girl,
oh
yes.
My God. Get out of my little toy.
Oh my goodness. Zoom. Come on in, Zoom. Come on in, Zoom. Oh, PBS. Man. Oh, Lord. I'm sorry if I hurt you with my finger.
No, you're good. You know.
All right, I'm going to let you go now.
That was very blurred, like us missing the
high five. But it's 90s kid throwbacks, okay?
Oh
90s kid throw. I'm going to put their channel. I keep saying channel, but I'm going to put their YouTube.
Instagram
and TikTok. Sorry, y'all. I'm going to put their Instagram profile in our show notes, okay?
Yes, it is great to introduce like your young people to the good stuff. I was so happy when my nephew started. Street Sharks!
That's what I'm saying. Like all this stuff we keep. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop looking now because you have to blur it out. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've already used my fangirl voice many times.
Too many times, right? Ah, man, Eureka's Castle. Lord have mercy.
Oh man,
I need to stop looking at this. Oh my God, the big.
I just watched a YouTube video last night talking about the different people from Power Rangers who are no longer with us. Granted, some of them I didn't have any idea who they were because I'm like they have gone way far and above with these many different Power Rangers. I'm like, I only recognize Power Rangers all the way up through in space.
They did like a reunion too.
I think so, like something recent.
The Blue Ranger and the Black Ranger from back in the day, and then the red one that came later, and then the Yellow Ranger, the Black Yellow Ranger because Trini's not alive. And then the other blonde one,
like
the other blonde girl,
Forever or something.
Yeah, there's
some name,
something
something
the
like
Black
that.
Ranger. Well, he's not black,
and I don't know what it's on, but I did hear about that.
Yeah, they do
I've
like a
seen
big
stuff
reunion.
like that. Yeah, but like. Yeah, I don't recognize any Power Rangers beyond In Space.
My sister
and
watched.
In
We watched
Space
the other ones.
was so epic.
We watched some of the other ones. I actually like some of the other ones. Ones were done in New Zealand too.
Oh, okay.
I really like them. But you go ahead and blur it out.
Okay. So my Blerdouts are all movie trailers, guys.
Oh, wow.
Movie trailers that I saw. I went to the movies with my brother and saw Evil Dead Rise last night.
Creepy. Yeah, no, I'm out. I'm out.
So I enjoyed it overall. I kind of wanted to. I was hoping for like a cameo by Bruce Campbell because he was the original hero from the Evil Dead movies, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. Bola knows who he is. She's probably has never seen the Evil Dead movies because she's not a horror fan, but she knows him as Autolycus.
Yo, yeah, I know him, but I don't know the movies.
Yeah, that was I think that was probably one of Sam Raimi's like first movies he ever made. Might have been
Sam Raimi. He's the one that made He's the one that just did the Multiverse of Madness.
Indeed.
No wonder.
That's not the only thing he did. He also did the first three Spider-Mans.
I'm just talking about now. He did the first. Oh yeah, he did the first Spider-Man.
The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
That's right. Those were awesome though.
Yes, and he was also part of Xena because it was Sam Raimi and Rob Tapert.
Okay. I'm feeling those ones. I'm feeling that.
Yeah. So like,
you got to go.
But like, it was produced. So they were executive producers. Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi were executive producers, and Rob Tapert actually on this newest one. And it had like some of the trappings of the original Evil Deads.
So are you blurting out about Evil Dead or?
No, I was just mentioning that I watched it, but I did enjoy it. I was just hoping for like a cameo or something by Bruce Campbell, but they had some like cool throwbacks. Like they did like they had the chainsaw, like one of the last surviving people like picks up a chainsaw near the end, and that's like Bruce Campbell's big thing as Ash in the Evil Dead franchise is he's got like a chainsaw hand. Now she doesn't have a chainsaw hand, but she did pick up the chainsaw, so that was cool. But overall, it was pretty good. But I am blurting out mostly about trailers I saw during Evil Dead Rise and, well, not during, but before Evil Dead Rise and before Suzume. So before Suzume, I was like particularly interested in this movie called Polite Society that's coming out at the end of April that looks fire. It seems to be about like an Indian lady whose older sister is like getting married, but she's like
somebody she doesn't like.
So yeah,
the family's evil to her.
Right.
And might I ask the one that plays the mom who she finds very evil, the one that plays the mom of the person her sister is marrying. So the groom's mom, who she is the same villain that's on Kamala. Miss Marvel with Kamala.
So. Yeah.
That's the same villain that was on there, and I'm like, don't know what it is about that woman, but she just has villain all over her face.
She does have villain vibes.
Yes, mad villain vibes. Every time I see her, I'm like, she gonna be bad. She gonna be bad. Anytime I see her, I'm like, I already knew she was the villain in this one, and she enjoys it. So yeah, but when I saw the trailer, I was like, yeah. I'm gonna have to check this out because I'm like, I love the idea of like them fighting in saris and shit.
Right.
All done up, but they're like kung fu. I'm like, what is this?
And I love that she's like an
they're
aspiring,
like British Indians.
aspiring stunt woman.
Yeah.
And it looks like she's at first not that great.
Yeah, so her sister's like, you did dope, but then she just like fell on her face. You're like, is that dope? But okay. Be a supportive sister, yeah.
Right? So I am really excited to see that. And I'm glad that Bola was also like, yes, this is like fire. So we'll probably end up reviewing that one, you guys. That'll probably be coming up soon. Might even be before Guardians of the Galaxy. Because Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is the next major thing that we'll probably do. Right?
We'll
May
see.
5th.
We'll see. We're not going to give out too much preview because we're just going to do what we're going to do, y'all.
Okay.
We're going to make it do what it do, baby. Speaking of that, I really hope Jamie Foxx pulls out well because he's really sick at the moment. Like he's been in the hospitalized. He wasn't well in his health, so I really hope he pulls through.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't really know all the details. I just know he's in the hospital and his health hasn't been good. So, and he did Ray Charles' beautiful movie, and he did. I'm gonna make it do what it do, baby. I just love saying that because of him. But yeah, shout out to Jamie Foxx, and please send your prayers and everything up. Good thoughts.
Yeah. Speaking of, I also saw when we were before Evil Dead Rise, there was a trailer for what looked to be like not exactly usually my usual thing that I would go see, but this, I don't know, like dog movie, like about a dog whose owner. Like this dog who becomes a stray because his owner like leaves him somewhere because his owner doesn't actually love him. So it's all these like, almost like Homeward Bound type of thing with dogs doing like people voiceovering like dogs.
I did not see that.
And the thing's like, he left me. He was like, and he's like enjoying his like stray dog life. And he was like, you know what? I got to get back to Jim or whatever his owner's name was. And the other dogs are like, dude, why? He was like, no. He's got to pay for what he did, so I'm going to take away the thing he loves most. I'm going to bite his dick off.
Ew. What the heck?
It's like, what?
Yo, is this an adult movie?
I'm sure it is.
Is this like Sausage Party?
But they're like, no, it's not animated. It's like Homeward Bound type of live action type of animals.
Oh, it's a live action. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was thinking animation and like what animation is talking about biting dicks off. Wait a minute.
No. It's like live action, except for it's like, and they're probably animating the animals' mouths the same way they did for like Homeward Bound and whatnot. Speaking of, I used to love the Homeward Bound series. Did you watch those?
No.
What?
I don't like dogs, so no. Anything with dogs. The only thing I liked with the dog was I watched Beethoven back in the day, and then I also liked Eddie McDowell. The 13 things for Eddie McDowell. I don't know, the one where
I did love Beethoven.
The dog was talking because he did something bad. Anyway, that was the only other thing I liked. But,
and are you talking? Look who's talking now.
No, I'm talking about the something for Eddie McDowell. It was a Nickelodeon show where the boy did something bad and he got put into a dog, so the dog could talk to this guy, and he had to like do all these good deeds with this one boy that he used to bully and stuff. And it was called the Good Deeds of Eddie McDowell, something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Please hit us up. I'm going to look it up myself, but it was a really good show.
Okay.
On Disney Channel, I think.
Okay. Well,
so that and Beethoven and Wishbone, I watched it sometimes. Otherwise, I don't like dog things.
I also saw the first trailer before Evil Dead Rise for Blue Beetle. And I was very intrigued. I don't know anything about Blue Beetle, though I heard that it was going to be part of the DC lineup coming out soon. But I saw the trailer and I was like, this looks like it's probably going to be kind of cool. So,
I like that they're a Spanish family.
I like that too.
I really do. We need some more Hispanic
like
heroes and stuff.
There's like practically zero.
There's only the girl
Miles Morales is probably I think he's like half. Black Hispanic.
Yeah, but that's okay.
But like that's the only one I can think of.
But I'm more hyped up about him being being Spider-Man. Like that's my main thing with him. That he's Spider-Man. But I like that this one is surrounding like a Spanish family.
And that's what I'm saying. Like we didn't. There was
nothing.
Think
of any except for the one America Chavez, is it? From Multiverse of Madness, is it Chavez or
Oh yeah, you're
America.
right. What's her name?
Name's America. I think I might be getting the Chavez part right, but I think it's America Chavez.
I was trying to think of if she had like a superhero name though.
No, she don't.
Okay.
Does
she? Yeah, you're right. That she is, but she's not been introduced like a main main superhero character yet.
In the Shazam, there was like one Spanish kid on there, but it's not the same.
Yeah, true. Again, like kind of very supportive. The only thing we
had was Talocan. Kiki Talocan. Mr. Roberto. Namor. He's actually a villain, but still. Namor. Yeah, they're
I'd
the only
say
ones.
more anti-hero than villain.
I would agree.
Yes. But yeah, you're okay. Yeah, I'll definitely take Namor. But yeah, so that's exciting, definitely for that reason. But another one that I saw, and this one was during Suzume. What did you think of? I mean, it looked like it was of interest. I don't know how good it's going to be, but I was like, Knights of the Zodiac.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was slightly interesting.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Slightly. But I'm like,
because I'm getting Percy Jackson and the Olympians vibes.
Yes.
And then I was like, should I be watching this, or is this one of those little tween things? But then the Asian knight is so hot that I'm like, I might watch it. Just pretty hot.
And I'm like, the premise seems kind of cool, but I'm just like, there was one part of the trailer where I'm like, those graphics look sus. I mean, most of it looked fine, but there was one part where I'm like,
what about this right here? So I'm on the fence on that one.
I'm kind of on the fence,
because I'm not sure what's going on there.
Slightly intrigued.
I saw that one.
Yeah, so slightly.
I didn't see the dog one, but I saw that one too. And I saw the Beetle one, but I saw the Beetle one when we watched the other film. Not watching Suzume. I didn't see the Beetle one for Suzume.
Yeah, well, yeah, it wasn't for Suzume. I saw it was actually before Evil Dead Rise that I saw that one. But so that's what I am blurting out about are those trailers. So I'm pretty excited.
We'll have a list of those in our notes for you, so you guys know what trailers they are. Maybe Whitney, we can provide links to the trailers so people can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I'm just like, this is like the time of year where I would consider actually getting like a movie subscription.
Right.
But except for the only ones they have are Regal and AMC. And I do like AMC. It's my second favorite theater after Cinema Cafe. If Cinema Cafe had a subscription, it would be done. I would already have that.
Yeah.
But like Regal, I'm just like, y'all don't even have no ticket takers. I mean, not ticket takers, like box office anymore.
Maybe it's just the Regal here.
Maybe. It's been a while since I've been to Westchester. Yeah, it's been some months.
You should try there one day and see.
I could, but I think that Westchester's just a little bit further, which I don't mind because I actually like the Westchester Theater better than Commonwealth 20.
It is out of the way. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, so we're done blurting out, and now we're gonna get to our main event. Drum roll, please. We should put a sound effect here. What is this we're doing? Like, what is this? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Let me stop, y'all.
These are low budget sound effects.
I know, man. Okay. All right, so let's get into Suzume. Whitney, tell them all about your first impressions.
I was in tears all day, y'all. So Bola was like,
tell them a little bit about this whole series. Yeah, go ahead.
So Bola tells me before that, because we watched it separately. We didn't actually go see this one together. And she's like, so before I saw it, Bola was like, hey, by the way, this is part of like this disaster series that, what is it, Makoto Shinkai? Made. So she's like, there's
people
two other
are calling
movies.
him, I must say this, people are calling him like the new age Hayao Miyazaki.
I can see that.
And I can totally see it. I mean, we can't really touch Miyazaki-san. I call him san because I respect him. But I can see Shinkai being the Miyazaki of this time.
I see it.
Because the film, I mean, the main thing that hit me was I really, really like this kind of like hyper-realism that you see in the animation. Mm-hmm. Like certain things are so detailed. And I'm like, is this like a picture? Or is this like in certain scenes in all of the films we watched of his? I was like, yo, this scene like something about
beautiful.
It looks, yeah, it's very beautiful, and it has like the cinematography. I guess that it's done
it's
in
interesting.
So much scope.
It looks like actual cinematography, as if they're changing like the aperture and stuff. Yeah. I'm just like, wow. Like I
was like, this is amazing. I was like, this is a beautiful. All three of the films were beautiful.
They are.
So we're talking about the Disaster Trilogy. They're calling it the Disaster Trilogy, and this is including his films Your Name. Mm-hmm. Second, which was the first one that came out in 2015, which actually was like, this was like the second highest animation like grossing film worldwide. And in Japan, it's the second one. The first one was Spirited Away, and then Your Name is like the second highest gross anime film of all time in Japan. But it's like this. Your Name went everywhere. It went big. It put him on the map, even though he had other films beforehand, like the Garden of Words and stuff, and other things. But Your Name put him on the map. And that was in 2015 or 16. I can't remember which one. And then the second one. Well, let me go back, because this one was what inspired him to do these disaster trilogies, what they're calling it, because he was fascinated by the natural disasters and their take and their toll on the Japanese people and their psyche and everything, and what was happening and living through them and stuff. And he was like, he could only put it out, and like that's what you do with your art. It helps you to, helps you process. And it took him like 3 movies to really process what was happening. And he's talking about the 2011 earthquake and the subsequent tsunami that happened that like totally decimated one area in Japan. And I believe the place is called Tohoku, but I'll put it in the show notes because I don't know which place. But the earthquake hit in 2011, and it was like a big thing for Japan. And so all the rippling and all the aftermath of it, like, was still felt. There was a lot of countryside and places decimated a whole area. People had to move out of it, and it's like a ruin of that place. And you can see that in Suzume, and you can see it in Your Name. But he had, like, in the middle, he has the one called Weathering with You, which he was more concerned about natural disasters and the flooding in the rain, and then the climate change stuff was what he was really getting at in the second one. But it was still weather disasters and its impact on people. So that one was more like a Tokyo-based one. And then the third one, Suzume, is where he really got out all of his feelings about the earthquake. So he wasn't able to process fully everything, but like I think going through the pandemic and stuff helped him to really get into like how I'm feeling about this, or what do I want to say about these things and the earthquakes and these natural disasters and a little girl dealing with trauma, because apparently the Suzume's character, she lost her mother in the earthquake, and it deals with like how she's not really having the emotional, like she hasn't really processed fully the emotional trauma of that. Right. She's just kind of living her life, and then of course each film has a little element of the supernatural, which I like. I like the little magical realism, the little bit of fantasy elements that's like different. They even have a bit of their Shintoism, spiritual things in all of them. But I just really enjoyed all 3 watching them. I had to watch all of them together because I was like, yo, Your Name was really good. And then Weathering with Me was like really, really good. And I watched Suzume and I enjoyed it so much, Whitney.
I did. I really loved how the fantasy elements were even more pronounced in Suzume.
Right.
Because like his other ones, they all have kind of like those fantasy elements, but they were, I would say, I mean, they were pronounced, but more subtle, I would say. And it was like Suzume was very much so like a fantasy type of film. And I really like that. And I did want to circle back to something you said that was interesting to me that I wanted to just tie into another Blerd favorite franchise.
Go ahead.
Doctor Who. Like when they first relaunched it in 2005, the director, I want to say like I think the showrunner was Russell T Davies. And from what I've either I watched or read, Russell T Davies, I believe he's gay. And like, so he went through like losing a lot of people during like the whole AIDS, like when AIDS was prominent and there wasn't anything to really help. So like if you watch like the kind of Russell T Davies Doctor Who kind of seasons, like people just be dropping. Like you're like people like you. It's not, there's some shows where you're like they're not really dead. Right. that is not Doctor Who. Russell T Davies. It's like people are gone and you like feel the loss. Right. And people are like, his feel like that because like he's processing what he went through. He lost so many people during the whole AIDS pandemic. So you feel that with his Doctor Who series because like these characters that you kind of grow attached to during the episodes, like they will die. Like they'll die like meaningful deaths, but it's just like, wow, there's like a lot of loss. during his stuff. And it made me think of what you said about
what he was about what Shinkai-san was
exactly
processing too.
Processing through your art.
You could also see other themes about like how he was feeling, how the youth, because he also wanted to connect to the youth.
Mm-hmm.
So I read some articles about all of these films and like listened to some interviews of his
mm-hmm.
that really helped to like bring it home, to bring it full circle. Mm-hmm. Now that I've watched all of the trilogy,
mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's going to add any more to it, but I like just these three. I really like them succinctly. Like they're all very different, but I could see the themes together in them, and the style is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
But to add to that, he was also thinking about the youth of Japan and the things that they're like concerned with, and how a lot of them are leaving the countrysides, and how there's like certain places that are like desolate areas that no one's like rebuilding, no one's doing anything, and how a lot of the countrysides or those areas are disappearing because the youth feel like they don't have a lot to offer there, so they want to run away and leave their countryside places or island places that are too small and go to this big city like Tokyo, like in Weathering for You. The main boy Hodoka wanted to leave, and he ran away from home. And so I like that he included these things and these issues. I feel like Weathering for You had the most social issues in it because you saw like the real things that were going on in Japan. Like the real things are going on in Tokyo. I was like, oh dang, this is a thing. Oh, did he just run away from home? And then it was like the people, every time he was trying to find somewhere to stay, the Hodoka was like, and they're like, are you a runaway? And it was like, it was common to them. And I was like, well damn, they just be running away like that and nobody catch them and return them home.
And you know what? Suzume also reminded me a little bit of Kotaro Lives Alone. Because like when her mother like died during the tsunami and earthquakes, and you hear like the voiceovers are like, have you seen my mommy? Where's mommy? It's like, oh, poor girl. Where's her mom? I was like, hello, can someone take this girl and be like,
her? Exactly.
Yes. I'm like,
thank God she had her aunt Tamaki.
But like she found, like her aunt found her out in the middle of nowhere. No one thought to say to this little girl, oh, let me take you to some authorities or somebody until they find your mom. Like, I'm just like, what? I don't understand.
Yeah, so that's a whole thing. Social contract stuff is interesting. It's a different culture from our own. So even to me, I'm like, well, I mean, to me, I was okay with it because I was like, at least her aunt found her and took her. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking about. But you're right. The voiceover,
somebody should have taken the time to like not let this little girl be out by herself. They should have been like, oh, you're alone. Let's come with me. And let's try to find your mom or find someone who like...
Especially since it was a big natural disaster where a lot of people were dead. Somebody should have grabbed her, but she ended up falling into the whole little door world thing anyway.
She did.
So she was there for a while.
That stuck with me. I'm like, why are y'all just like talking amongst yourselves like, oh, poor girl?
And they're just showing how people do that. And like people just pass by like, oh... It's like people don't really dig in and get in there and help you. You know what I mean? And it was like, well, they just want to do them and go on their own way. And he was showing that. He's like, if it wasn't for the aunt to really grab her and help her out. And that's what I'm not going to lie. At one point, Suzume was really like irritating me. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm your guardian. You need to have respect for me. I'm the only one taking care of it. It's only us. I was just, she was so rude to her aunt. That was taken care of. And then I know these are, all three of these were like romance or at least coming of age. So they're all like school students and, you know, sometimes teenagers be just acting up.
The rebellion stage.
But at certain points I was like, you're not just going to run off all over the country. Like,
right?
Beaver's like, you need to come back and let me know what's going on. And for her not to just beat her tail when she saw her.
I was about to say, my tail would have been lit up.
This would have been a had they been black moment. I'm telling you, she would not have made it to the next stop. Tamaki would have found her and beat her ass and dragged her hair back home. My parents would have waited
until we got behind closed doors because you know how people are in America nowadays. Right. You can't spank your badass children.
You have to take them to the bathroom.
Right.
Even then, you'd be like, let me take her home.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, yeah, my tail would have been lit up. Right. Like, what the heck? You're not going to just be out here in these streets for days on end talking about I'll be back when I'm back. No. What are you talking about?
Exactly. And I was just like, so at certain points, I was like, no, Suzume, you need to stop. You need to talk to your aunt nicely. Let her know what's going on. She's concerned about you. So at certain points, I was like, you being rude. Even she was rude about and I'm like, first of all, can we get to the point where Suzume started all this because nobody asked you to leave the damn door open? She left the door open. She opened the first gate and she left it open. Then
That's
she
a
took
good point.
She took the keystone and it became the cat.
Now, I don't think that was her point.
That's not her fault because she picked it up and it just magically turned into something. But to me, she went open the door and then she left it open.
That was trifling to me.
So I'm like, you didn't need to do all that. Like, you should have closed the door. So that's why the worm came out in the first place.
That reminds me, like, when we were wrapping up
can we just say that? That's
a podcast episode?
Wait with me. Can we just say this is her fault? Like, the natural disaster that happened, this was her fault. Nobody asked her to go over there. Nobody asked her to open the door.
I can't say that it was her fault. She was the catalyst.
But who opened the door, though? I rest my case.
I think the door probably would have opened anyway. Well, I don't know. You know what? Now I don't know because
she left it open.
Because now that you mention it, like all the other doors was when they were chasing what's his name,
Daijin, the cat.
Yeah,
but it's because she opened the door and then she took the thing.
And I feel like Daijin opened the other doors. Well, we don't know if Daijin opened the other doors or if
Daijin allowed one. She opened the door so that thing could easily get out. Mm-hmm. But the second thing is, she took the keystone off of its position, so the keystone was holding the worm back inside the behind the door world. Mm-hmm. So if she didn't touch the keystone, 1, there would be no problem. If she didn't open the door and leave it open, 2, there would be no problem. The guy was looking for doors to make sure they stayed closed. Mm-hmm. The door was closed, but she went ahead and touched stuff. That was my main issue. Be like, Suzume, you started your whole problem. That's my own take.
Okay,
she started it.
I don't think the keystone was her problem because he's like, a cool thing on the ground. Let me pick it up.
She ain't put it back.
I mean, it ran away.
Leave stuff where leave stuff how you found it.
It ran away, so that was kind of hard to do. She picked it up and it turned into a cat, ran away. That's kind of hard. But I do think it was her fault for not closing that door. But who knows if the door would have still stayed closed with the keystone not being there.
This is another Had They Been Black. I
don't
touch nothing. I don't know nothing about.
Though, Had They Been Black is don't you leave my door open like that.
Exactly. And also don't touch stuff you don't know. Like, that thing look weird. I'm not touching it.
Yeah,
that's a black thing.
That's one thing, like to open the door because it's like, random door in the middle of the day. Well, just open it for shits and giggles. Fine.
And then she got scared. I'm like, and
then
it
was like,
keep the door open.
It looked beautiful and stuff. I was like, oh, so pretty.
Once you went through the first time,
she just like buggered off. She didn't even like shut. Now that was trifling, not shutting it back.
I was so mad at her. I was like, bitch, didn't close the door. No, so I was like, I knew shit was gonna pop off.
Lady, this looks like a portal to another world. How you just gonna leave it open?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I literally in the theater, I was like, Suzume started this whole damn shit because. If she didn't leave that door open, I was like, that's why the thing came out. I now know it was also because she picked up Daijin, the keystone. That was the main thing now. But I was like, you left that door open.
But it also made me wonder, like, those other doors, like, did Daijin open the other ones? Or would they have opened on their own? And Daijin was kind of just leading them to be like, hey, you need to close these.
I don't know. Because I wonder, at first I was really irritated with Daijin.
Me too.
Because I was like, how you going to turn my hottie? Okay, so you guys, Suzume, and like again, these are all have like a little romantic element. So there's always like a boy and a girl, like togetherness thing going on. And so Sota, apparently she met him.
And I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm so mad you did that.
I'm sorry.
She did
this is one of the
sexy. I don't even. What do we call that?
I don't even know.
I don't know what to call it, but it's like a sexy growl. Like it's not even a growl. Like just like a thirst sound.
Right?
A thirst sound.
But this is like Sota is one of those animated characters where you're like, oh, he's fine.
Y'all know y'all have him. Where you're just like, he's hot. Like he's hot.
Can I mention another one that's kind of like a weird one, but everybody kind of more or less agrees?
What's up?
The fox from Robin Hood, the Disney Robin Hood.
Oh yeah,
he's like
very good looking.
He's like, not even like he's an
fox,
anthropomorphic, but it's like that Robin Hood fox was hot though.
Oh my goodness. He was a nice looking fox. I don't know about hot. He's a nice looking fox. That's all I can say.
And everybody be thirsting after Aladdin with his shirt all open and stuff.
Yeah.
But like Sota goes in that category where you're just like,
Sota was hot from the beginning. Anybody stopped me, I'd be like, let me show you where the ruins are.
I would have been stopped too. Like, can I help you with directions, sir? I can take you on a tour.
And it's funny because at first I thought maybe she saw him before when she was younger. That's how the movie started. But then I thought, because you don't know who that was, right, Whitney?
Shining, shimmering.
Can we get off Aladdin now? That's enough.
Sorry, this is what I would be saying to Soda. Like, if you saw him, like
she over there singing Aladdin to the anime character, y'all. If Soda was there, I would have been like, I can show you whatever you like. You can have whatever you like. Okay, we need to stop being silly. Okay, so Sota was called a closer. So there was a lot of like Shintoism stuff.
There was. I actually watched a YouTube video just to get some more background on that. I'll shoot it to Bola so she can put it in the show notes.
Even in Weathering with You, with the Sunshine Girl and the Weather Maiden and stuff, and all that spiritual stuff where she could just pray and then the rain would go away. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was very interesting.
It really is. It makes you like want to dive into like what is this? Like,
tell me more.
Right? So Sota was the closer, so he went and he goes around, his family has done it for generations, where they go around closing these spiritual doors that connect to the other world. And the other world has this big, scary creature called the Worm that can come out and cause cataclysmic earthquake activities in the country. And they were having like a lot of, even while he was coming out, because the whole point of the movie was that they had to go around closing these doors, Suzume and Sota. But the thing was, so many earthquake alerts were coming out, and the people were like, oh my God, what's going on? But it was really because the Worm was coming out and they had to close the door to prevent really big earthquakes from coming, because if he came out, which he did, and then if he fell, then it would be like the world would be destroyed.
Really bad category 5 and 6 earthquakes.
Right. And it was almost like, to me, it was Shinkai's way of thinking, like, what is causing these earthquakes in our area? And it was like his answer for it was like this story, this like spiritual thing, or and I kind of like that, because it's like when you don't know, that's what human beings do. When we don't know the cause of something, we make something up, or we try to have some kind of legend storytelling thing to explain stuff. And it was just like, this is my way of doing it. We know it's fictional, but it's like, he was like, what if this is what was causing all these earthquakes and these disasters and things, and we're not aware of it?
And I like the closing kind of like saying or chant that he would do each time, like
return them to you. A whole little speech.
These mountains and rivers that we have like used ourselves, we know that they are not ours. I just liked it.
It was very interesting.
It was. It
sounded like
cool.
a prayer, to be honest with you.
Yes, I like that element of it. It made me think of like the Wrinkle in Time series. I feel like almost each one has this really cool kind of like saying in it. But like, I think it's a wind in the door. So it's like a wrinkle of time, a wind in the door. There's swiftly tilting planet and many waters, and it's either.
I was gonna say a crack in the back. Sorry, I don't know why you said a wrinkle in this. This and that. I was like a crack in the back. I was like, I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I threw you off. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. But it was, I think it's actually a swiftly tilting planet that it's in. But it's something called like the Rune, and it's like a Celtic prayer that that one of the characters has to say to like protect himself and his family from all these happenings that are going on. And I just loved it so much that I memorized it, and this thing from Suzume reminded me of it. I'm going to recite it. Sorry, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Bear with my blerdiness.
Get back to Suzume.
This is a different kind of blerdiness, but it's like, at Terra in this fateful hour, I place all heaven with its power, and the sun with its brightness, and the snow with its whiteness, and the fire with the strength it hath, and the lightning with its rapid wrath, and the winds with their swiftness along their path, and the sea with its deepness, and the rocks with their steepness, and the earth with its starkness. All these I place, by God's almighty help and grace, between myself and the forces of darkness.
Oh, that sounds good.
Do
you remember that from the books?
That's because cool. it stuck with me, because it was so cool, and I loved the lyrical quality of it.
Oh, so you memorized it.
So I did. And this reminded me of that. Like, the thing that he would say each time, it reminded me of the Rune. I just really loved the kind of lyrical quality of it. There was something poetic about it that I just really liked.
So it reminds you what Sota was saying each time.
Exactly.
I get it. All right, so can we get to the point of how my dude spent most of this movie as a chair?
Right?
So our hot and sexy Sota,
y'all designed this fine-ass character.
Fine-ass character. Didn't know he was going to spend most of the movie in a chair. I was like, what the... I was like, this cat done turned him into a chair. He literally stayed a chair. I mean,
almost the entire movie.
I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, no, he did not. No, I was like, no, they are not making this boy a chair for the whole movie. He was over there running and jumping, and people were literally like taking like the phenomenon. If you saw this in person, it would happen because you're just like, you guys see that running chair? You guys see that cat running after that? And then this cat was just everywhere. Daijin was also doing too much, and I was like, if you were trying to be with Suzume the whole time, why were you running away from her? I didn't get that. So Daijin was irritating me so bad. And I was like, these damn cats.
But as I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, I was like, Daijin seems like a little bitch ass.
Right?
But as I'm watching, I'm like, maybe he's not as much of a bitch ass as it seems. Maybe he's in a roundabout way trying to. But that's what I was saying. I am not sure if Daijin was actually opening doors or if he was leading them to where they were because they were going to open anyway. And that's what I'm not sure about. Now, he could have been opening doors, but I don't know that for sure. That's what I'm not certain about.
Also, I didn't understand the whole fact that he was trying to make the closer the keystone. Like, it was like, he's like, no, he was like, Daijin was like, you're in the way. Bam, you're a chair.
Right.
And then Daijin was like, I'm going to stay with Suzume now. And then you're going to be the keystone. I was like, what? So you're trying to make him a keystone the whole time? And I'm like, but he's a person. I was just like, what is happening in this movie?
He wasn't trying to. He did it initially. Like, right? That's the first thing. He just didn't realize it until the end.
And I was like, all through this journey, they kept going on. And I was like, she literally is... It looked crazy. I'm not going to lie. If I saw somebody just holding a 3-legged chair and talking to it, I'm like, we need some psychiatric evaluation here. Excuse me. I was like concerned, but I was like, this dude spent the whole movie a chair. And she fell in love with a chair. Like, I was like...
That was funny. Can we talk about
the
second friend that she met, the one with the 2 kids? I'm like, so what's her job?
No, because, in Japan, they have these kind of host culture things. So I don't think she was a prostitute. Okay. She was just one of those people where when they go to the host cafes and stuff.
Like a maid cafe?
Yeah, but for hosting. This time they have to dress all sexy and everything. Club. And then like be the escort or just, be the vavavavum girl for those guys. And they just host them for a while they're there. And they get paid for that. In Kotaro, the girl that was in there, she was also the same thing. Mm-hmm. She was a host girl. So she had to get all dolled up, go to the bar, host and be like just the company for the men or whoever paid for her services that night. And she went home. She ain't sleeping nobody.
Okay. That's what I was not sure about. I was like, she
had the children's up. No, they just was like, when it came to the bar at the night, they had to dress up because they're owners and they're like hosting people. Mm-hmm. So that was the thing. And I understood that because I know the Japanese culture. Okay. They have a host culture that's there. That's why Oran High School Host Club came out of that. Like, okay. That's why they dressed up and did different things, but they did it in high school level. Mm-hmm. And when I remember, that blew my mind once I learned after watching that anime that was a real thing and how dangerous it can be and how bad it can be, because then some people will make them do more than they're supposed to do for money and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, since they work and they rely on that money, they would be forced to do things that they didn't want to do.
So now it's just sounding like American escorts.
Yeah. So the host culture is really kind of sketch. But for them, they were like, they dressed up for the bar to just, entertain people and look nice.
But I was confused about that. I was kind of like squinty-eyed, side-eyeing. I was like,
Yeah. Also, I wanted to mention that this movie, okay, so when I left the theater, I don't know why, but this movie put me in like such a positive mood. Like, I literally smiled at the end of the movie. And I just felt so light. And I wanted to go on an adventure because I felt like this was a real adventure film. Out of all the other ones, this one was...
It really was.
Like, Suzume went on a little adventure. Like, she just kept going, meeting people. And I thought it was like, she was kind of a brave, bold, brazen kind of chick because she would just go over and I'm like, you could just talk to people like that and be doing stuff like...
if we can really call it a little adventure because she was across the entirety of Japan.
She went across the whole... And she didn't care. And I was like, who is paying for this?
Right?
That's my thing. I'm like...
Well, she did say at one point, which I appreciated, she was like... all of my savings are almost out. I was like, thank you, because I'm wondering where this money is coming from.
Right. Thank you. And only in Weathering with You did we see that, the money is an issue. For the boy who left his hometown, got on a ship, came to Tokyo. He was literally trying to find his bearings, and he was running out of money quick. I was like, yeah, I show the truth. You know, he can't even afford no soup. You know what I mean? Stay in one of those little hostels that's like a little box that you sit in. Like, oh, those things scare me, but people stay in them because they're so cheap. And I'm like, I can't stay in a little box. Like, I don't know. Japanese people do some stuff that I don't know. I don't know about. But Suzume went around and I'm like, I like that she was like picking up people on the way, meeting friends. It was really nice because I was like, man, I remember it was like, I need to go on an adventure. That's what I said to myself afterwards because like,
I like that.
I love Suzume's adventure.
And she always, like, everywhere she went, she always found someone
to help her.
And I love, like, when she was talking to her younger self, she was like, everything's going to be...
Okay, I was waiting to go there.
I mean, we're just kind of connected, but just saying, like, you know, your life, you know, everything's going to be okay. Your life is going to be filled with so much light. And you saw it, like, on this adventure. Everywhere she went, she found someone who was willing to reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place.
Don't get me started.
If you can.
Okay, we're done.
But it was, because, like, it was, to me, it was almost like a complete reversal of when she was a child. Because when she was a child, all these people are like, oh, she looks like she's all by herself. Poor girl. But nobody did anything.
Right. Until the aunt came.
Exactly. And the aunt had to find her. There wasn't like, she wasn't like she was at the police station because somebody was like, oh, this girl is lost. She doesn't know who her mother is. She had to find her out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Whereas a reversal to when she's a teenager, and every time she was going to look for a door, there was always someone who would stop and be like, you need some help. Which,
I like the journey she went on because it forced her to deal with one, because she kept saying through the movie that her memories of her mother and the stuff that happened when she was younger, she just couldn't remember them. And I like that it forced her to go back to the spot. And it was almost like people need that healing of revisiting those trauma places. I mean, not but just where things happen, going back and remembering and like just unpacking it. And I feel like this thing allowed her, this journey took her through that. Like, she used to spend years away, like with her aunt and just doing stuff, but she didn't really unpack losing her mom. She didn't really unpack all the good memories, you know? The only thing she kept was like the chair, and she decided to be the same profession as her mom.
And, you know, I want to also tie this back to another nerd fandom. It reminded me near the end of Harry Potter.
Ah, yeah.
With the Patronus.
Yeah.
And he was waiting for his dad the entire time. And she's like looking for her mom. And it turns out that it's her.
Him, right? I know. I love that. I love that the person she thought she saw was her mom as a kid. And it was really her. And then I love that at the end, Suzume was telling her younger self that, I'm your tomorrow. I was like, oh my God.
I know. That was awesome.
I feel like I need to see my tomorrow person to make sure she's better than now. Please, Lord, please.
And I love that she said, like, during like one of the voiceovers near the end, she was like, I had everything that I needed. Right. I was looking for it, but I already had everything. Right. And I'm like, yes, and recognize more of it. Your aunt has like... That she told her when she found her, I will be your mother. A different mom. Yes, she's like, everything you were looking for, you already had it.
And then she fell in love with, and I love that. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, to me, I was looking through all these films. It was just seemed like the Japanese people are just like, okay, for the sake of love, you can do whatever you want. But I was like, no, let's be practical. They just leave everything to like youthful zeal or some shit. You know what I mean? And I was like, let's be practical. Chicks can't be running around like look at Your Name. They were like swapping bodies in different times. It was so weird. I was like, wait a minute, she had already died. What?
I know. I was like, no, she's not gonna survive.
I know, and then
I cried in every single one of these movies, you guys. Oh, every single one. And when Bola said she left the movie theater happy, I mean, I was happy. But I also had like dried tears on my cheeks, so it was kind of
it was so moving because it was like, to me, I left the theater for Suzume at least. I left the theater, honestly, all of them had great, hopeful endings as opposed to being like really drab. You know, they could have been drab.
They did, but I thought that I was especially intrigued by the ending. Wow,
sounds weird.
Right? The ending of Weathering with You.
Weathering with You.
Okay, Weathering with You. Because like he's like, no, this rain, he was like, I don't care. This rain can fall all the time. And then it was like, Tokyo is underwater. I was like, oh, shit.
Right? And I was wondering, I'm like, is this true or not? Like, is this just part of the show? I don't know.
I kind of had the feeling that maybe Tokyo did used to be underwater. Because, like, the priest was saying, it's like, they say these record rains. And it's like, but these people are talking about, they always say records sowing things, but these records have only been going on for 100 years.
I do like what the old guy was saying. This is not in Suzume, y'all, but I do like what the old guy was saying in Weathering with You, in the fact that he's like, everyone's talking about how unnatural the weather is, but they're like, no, we're the ones that are living in the spaces between Earth and heaven. And like, he's like, all that's going on around us that we can't control, that stuff's there, you know? And I was like, that's a very interesting take. Like, I don't know why, I just thought something that struck me that he was saying. I mean, you can think the climate, of course, but it's like, we can't explain all these natural disasters. Look at America now. We keep having more and more storms, more and more stuff, and we don't know, we can't explain it. We don't know what's going on. We definitely know that there's some like human interaction with the environment, things we're doing is not helping it. But it was like, I like that he was like, all these phenomenons, we're always trying to explain them off as something, but he's like, the nature is nature. It's like it was there first, you know? And you keep saying this is unnatural, but it's like, no, nature is here first. What was going on was here first. So I don't know why that part struck me for what that old guy was saying.
It did strike me too. I liked it. It was like a kind of a complicated ending because it's like, you know, you kind of expect a certain thing and it's like, oh, he got her back. That's awesome. But it's like, Japan paid a price. Well, Tokyo paid a price, but then you're like, so it's like Tokyo was now underwater. You're like, damn.
Right. I was like, oh, okay.
And I'm like,
so it just kept flooding to get her back.
I know this is like, well, this is a little bit, but then it's like, but then on the other side, it's like, this chick shouldn't have to pay for all that, and it's like the dude, like the old dude said, it's like, well, you know, this was what it used to be anyway. It's like we like this was a change. This was it, like it went back to what it was before,
right? That's
and I'm like, that's interesting because at first it's like it's kind of like a sad. It's like a bittersweet ending. Like he got her back, but then like all of Tokyo's underwater,
right? And there's like, are they gonna be like Venice, where they have to get around in gondolas and stuff? That's what I was thinking.
And you're like, that type of feels like it would be kind of a weight on you to be like, oh dang, we did this. But then it's like, no, like look at what they were looking at. It looked beautiful. It was underwater, but it looked,
and people were surviving and living still. So I was like, it was very interesting the way he put it like that. Like it's like, it's okay, because this goes back to my point that I wanted to get to about the love instances when with all three of the films, where it was like the love of that person or the adolescent love that they found was so strong that it was like, it's like, it's almost like it's so strong during that time that you feel like you can, you know, defy the laws of gravity, defy nature, defy the authority, society to do things, time and space, all these supernatural things were happening. And it was like each film, it was like somebody chose to stop him, like, no, I'm going to save her. So in Your Name, Taki was like, oh no, I'm not going to just let her be dead. Because by the time he figured out why they weren't sharing bodies anymore, it was because she had already died 3 years beforehand, which blew my mind. I was like, whoa.
That blew my mind too. And the fact was like, when she tried to call him and it like didn't go through, I'm like, why is this signal not going through?
I thought it was so crazy.
And then when you found out, you're like, no.
Right. I was and the fact that he was like, no, I'm going back and I'm going to save her. And she's going to be alive. And then they had some time apart, but then they found each other again. Because I was like, why can't they remember each other's name? I was like, what?
And I like how in the first two, like, it's always like an older person with this like really profound saying. It was the old man in Weathering with You. And then it was like her grandmother in Your Name when she was talking about connection. Like, all of this is connection time and like relationships and stuff. And I'm like,
but it was weird that they were sharing bodies at different times. Like, she was alive. It was like when she was switching bodies, it was present, and then he was going into the past. It was so weird, and it was while they were sleeping. So I just thought it was like, that part was like, just freaked me out. Because at first I couldn't get what was like, I was like, what is going on here? You know, when you're watching it at first, it just kind of creeps up. But I like how they did it.
Me too.
But it blew my mind. And then in Weathering with You, I mean, Hodoka was just like, I'm going to get Hina back. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get him. No, she's like, no, I don't care about you guys and your son. I don't care that this place is like becoming like a swamp or whatever. I'm going to get Hina back because I love her and I need her.
Exactly. And he was like, she didn't do this in the first place, so y'all can just live with this.
He got her back. And then she did the same thing. Suzume did the same thing for Sota. Sota sacrificed himself to become the keystone to save everybody and close, the doors so that the worm wouldn't come on, cause a catastrophic disaster. And she was like, no, I'm getting Sota back. Like, no, I'm going up in there and I'm going to do it.
Will not stand.
Right?
And you know what? I was a little upset at Sota's grandfather because he was very laissez-faire about this.
I mean, he was sick and stuff.
He was like, oh, what happened to that grandson of mine? He failed, didn't he?
But
it was
like, he got it.
now he's a keystone. Okay, well, he saved everybody. All right, fine. It's like, dude, your grandson is gone.
Heartless.
Like, dude, yeah, it did. It did seem
I'm not gonna lie to you. I find that happens a lot in a lot of the animes. They're just like, oh, well, he sacrificed himself. It's almost like you're supposed to do that. I see it on a lot of different animes. It's like a Japanese trait to like the many is way more than the few or the one, especially the one. It's like you're supposed to sacrifice yourself for the greater good. But then it seemed like when he saw Suzume's fervor, he got it. He was like, oh, she's in love, and that's why he laughed. He was like, okay, I'll leave it to you because you can't fight love. Like I feel like found the power of love was the strongest theme in all of them.
Right, and there was like he was like, there's something in her that can actually do something. Right. Like not everybody could do something about the situation, but she can.
Can I just say I was mad with her about the whole thing where his friend came. Remember her friend and then he took her in the car and then. I was just like, this whole time, and I know she was like, I gotta go get some, but at the same time, I'm like, this dude's car just went into a ditch. And he just was like, I'm out. Peace. I was like,
right,
dude, like, you're not gonna help him? Both of them just like, all right, I'm just gonna leave you. I'm gonna take this old rusty bike that's right here. I'm also gonna leave you by yourself. Sometimes I be looking at these animes and things, and I'm like, look, can we be practical for a second? This dude, like, went into a ditch for y'all. And he, like, helped y'all when y'all didn't really need it. Like, I mean, they needed it, but, like, he didn't ask. And y'all just, like, left this dude by himself in the ditch. I was like, y'all are foul ladies. And he's like, they're crazy. I was like, nah, they effed up. I would be like, they are so crazy. I was like, why did I do this? I'd be kicking myself like, I don't even know these chicks. Like, got my car all effed up.
But at least the hood works out.
Right? Oh, man, that mess made me laugh so bad.
But your junk gotta be pretty messed up that your door just kind of was like, bleh.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that was not well connected.
It was raining so bad, and the whole, like, I just loved it. The car was so, like, messed up. Even though it looked great at first.
It did.
But the car was so old and messed up that they were trying to show that even the sunroof didn't work all the way. It only stopped, like, halfway. I was like, damn, can you meet me halfway? Right? That's what I was thinking about.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
I love
some other parts like in the whole trilogy that you thought about. Whitney?
I keep forgetting about what the cat's name is.
Daijin. I don't know what the black one was called.
Something. It's something Daijin.
I don't know if the other one had a name. The black one.
They called it something like
Daijin. I don't know.
Shizine or something.
Shizine?
Like something. It was something similar.
Right.
It was like Sai Daijin or something like that. Oh man, I wish I could find it.
But what were some other things you thought about when you're looking at this Suzume film? What are some other things you wanted to point out? Besides the breathtaking animation,
yes,
the music was really nice.
I like how Daijin fought off the other keystone when it was possessing her aunt. When it was possessing Suzume's aunt, because remember she was saying that stuff, and then it was like,
I don't know why he was doing that. And then it joined them for the trip, and I'm like, so are you a bad cat or a good cat? I can't tell.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
That's why I couldn't tell with both of the cats. I was like, y'all both look really. I don't know what to make of you two.
I feel like they were both very puckish.
Oh, what is that?
Puck was like the god of mischief, almost like a Loki type of.
I got you.
Like very mischievous.
I thought Puckish meant something totally different. Okay,
like the god Puck. I felt like they were both very puckish, but Gaijin more so than the Dark Cat. Because then the Dark Cat was like,
Gaijin just wanted to be loved, and I felt bad because as soon as Suzume says she ain't love him or nothing,
he got just all scrawny and stuff. He's like, you don't love me, Suzume. I'm like, damn. Now I kind of feel bad, but you were being a bitch ass for a lot of this. Though.
To me, I was like, Daijin. I was like, in the whole film, I was like, Daijin, you getting my nerves. Come down from that damn bridge, like, and then you see Sota as a chair running after him, and like the imagery is like, I know this little chair is not running after a damn cat, and it was hilarious to me. I don't know what made Shinkai Sensei think of it, but I'm like, yo, Shinkai-san, you got jokes, man. I just thought he spent the whole movie as a chair, but he fell in love with her too, and I like that he came back for her, and
I did like that.
They had to like. I'm not gonna lie to you because I was like, she in high school. This is really like. The age gap right here is not. If he a grad student, she in high school, we need to not do this. But because I was
wondering exactly how old was he though?
He was in grad school, becoming a teacher. That's what they said.
But you know how other countries, they're like the years are a little bit different.
I know she was under 17. That's all I know. And I was like, oh no, y'all can't be nothing. No. I was happy that she went away. He went away. And
I thought she was 17. I didn't think she was under 17.
I don't know because in Japanese culture, they finish school at like 18. That's when they finish school. So, like here. In Korea, they finish a little bit later. But that's what to me, I was like, no, you can't be in love with her. Like, you're a lot older. So, she's in high school. Let's, like, wait some time. You know, so as much as Sadaijin is what it is?
Sadaijin.
Okay, so that was the dark cat.
Yeah, but I thought that Sadaijin was a G.
He was like, okay.
He was pouncing all on that worm.
Tell me, Whitney, when the Daijins like went to their puffed up form, you did not think of Never Ending Story. That Never Ending Story.
I did!
Thank you, Whitney.
Yes, I thought of the Luck Dragon. I was like, is he a Luck Dragon?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, why did they look at that thing from Never Ending Story? I don't even remember that thing's name. Was it Sebastian or something?
No, Sebastian was like the main guy who was like reading the book.
Okay.
The Luck Dragon. I can't remember what the Luck Dragon's name was.
I can't remember what his name was either.
Now I want to go back.
No, forget.
But now I want to go back and watch the Never Ending Stories.
That's what I thought when I saw them. I was like,
I did too. I was like, he looks like a Luck Dragon.
I thought it was nice that they were trying.
And I thought he was going to turn into a dragon, but he was like a big cat. But he was like, for being considerably smaller than the worm, he was taking care of business on that worm.
He was. Sadaijin was doing his thing.
Yeah.
And I was like...
And I did appreciate every time that Daijin like saved her from falling. He turned into this big puffed up version of himself. I was like, oh.
He loves Suzume, but I was like, then why aren't you staying with Suzume? Why are you running around the city? I was like, what are you doing?
That's why I was like, that's why I didn't know if I was like, maybe Daijin is not a bitch ass.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a point to what he's doing.
He was selfish because he wanted to stay with Suzume.
There was that. But then I kind of almost got the feeling like he was trying to help in a different way. He didn't want to be the Keystone no more, but was still trying to.
You know what made me clue into it is because when the grandpa was in the bed and she had left the grandpa's room, and then the cat, we didn't know if this was Daijin or not. We just see the shadow of a cat, and he was like, "I will leave this to you, old friend," right? And so it seemed like to me like the dad, like maybe the grandfather, that was his cat or something. And so it seemed like, okay, so the cats, maybe they want to stay with a human being or like make connections, or, you know. So it seemed like he sent Sadaijin after them to go help. So that's why I was like, it looked like since he was smaller and younger, Daijin was smaller and I thought younger, so that maybe he wanted to connect and make Suzume his like human partner thing.
Yeah.
And that he wanted somebody else to be the Keystone.
But see, I was confused. I thought that was Daijin that went to see the grandfather.
And it wasn't. It was Sadaijin.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. That's what we learned. There was Sadaijin in there because Daijin is not his friend. Daijin was off doing crazy stuff. It was Sadaijin that he was sending off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, because it was like that one got loose, so the other one must have gotten loose because that one was like you said. So that's why it was like happening.
I want to revisit like the possession almost of the aunt because I was like, dude,
it was really creepy.
That was really weird. But then at the same time,
if Daijin could curse Sota and turn him to a chair, then the other one should have powers too.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, it's like I don't know if like that wasn't didn't make you seem that good, dude.
Right.
But then at the same time, it's like I wonder if he was trying to help them work through some stuff. It's like you've got these unsaid things that are like preventing your relationship from really being all it could be, because you're not moving past these things, because you're not saying them, you're not getting them off your chest. But somebody, like, she's thinking it, you haven't said it, y'all haven't worked through it, so let's get it out.
Say it, right. And like I said, I keep saying this, like, with anime, I'm like, one, I found all three of these very wonderful watches, very moving. I enjoyed them, like getting into the story, seeing it, and the attention to detail.
Oh my god, the animation is just like some of these like scenes, like the one of the water scenes in Weathering with You, where it was just like the ground and it was just water droplets on the ground. I'm just looking at that and I'm like, wow.
Right.
Wow.
I was looking at that too, and then I liked how the water looked in Suzume when you first see the scene opening up and she's on the bike and she runs into Sota the first time, and he's like, I'm looking for some rules, I'm looking for a door, you know? And I was like, wow, the water looks so cool with the little glittery. But going back to what I was saying was, I like with all three of these that they're very succinct, but they're very different. But you can see the themes all the same thing. I like when you can see the director's style, like a storyteller style is all over the films. And they're very different, but also it's like a trilogy is supposed to be. They're all like different in parts, but make a whole.
Yeah.
Like, you know? And so I really enjoyed all the Disaster trilogy.
I did too.
But for Suzume, I think Suzume might be my favorite one.
I think so too.
I was looking back at all of them.
I really liked Your Name.
I think Suzume is my favorite one.
I liked plot, like between Suzume and Weathering with You. Between Your Name and Weathering with You, I liked the kind of story more so for Your Name. But the emotional parts, I think, for Weathering with You got me more. And then in Suzume, I really loved how much he almost like doubled down on the fantasy elements.
Yeah.
And it very much reminded me kind of Revolutionary Girl Utena. Like when she saved him. Remember when when Utena saved Anthe, when she was like in the coffin, when she reached in and she saved Sota from being the keystone and brought him out of the ice. Right. It reminded me of when Utena was like trying to save Anthe from like the very, very end of the series, getting her out of the coffin. It reminded me of that. I was definitely getting those vibes, like of these things where like this person is meant to be there, quote unquote meant to be there. They were put in there by some means that like circumstances that shouldn't have really had them be there. Right. But, like, they're like, no, I am going to go and save this person.
And I like that. All three of them were saving. All three movies, somebody was saving somebody. And I really like that. They were like, no, I'm going to push for it. I'm not going to just... Especially something about Weathering with You. I was like, that one really, like... You're right. There was something different about that one. Yeah. That I really like. I don't know. I was trying to figure out which one was my favorite. Because I was like, I really like Weathering with You. Because of how real it was and how like they really got into the story, like they really got into the real lives of people with this like fantasy element, because the kids were suffering, they were doing a lot of stuff, like it was hard for all of them. There were orphans. Well, the girl was an orphan. He was just without family because he ran away from home. And it was just the struggles that they had to go through. Almost getting, even the gun in there, and then almost getting...
like, he was willing to do anything. He was like, you better get out of my way.
He had a whole trial and everything for what he was doing, but he was so dedicated to...
getting her back?
Yeah, and it was like the passion of him... Right. During the story. And then how, like, even like... Suga, the one that was taking him in, was so concerned... But he was like crying because he was realizing how he had lost the passion. Because he was like, Hodaka was kind of like him when he first came. And then he had lost his wife, and how it still pains him. And he's still trying to get his daughter back from the grandma. Yeah, and it was just like... He even cried because he was seeing the passion of the boy. And like the boy's like at least fighting now and doing stuff. Right. And so it made him go into action.
And I feel like he also felt guilty because he was like, I would make that decision every day. Like... Right. To like sacrifice her for like the sunshine. I'm like, dude, like, whoa, that's pretty messed up. So like, I was like, damn, not cool, man.
And he was like, no, I love Hina. We getting her back. And I was like, that's my thing. I love it. I was just happy that he went through there. I like that they were all willing to brave the elements, all willing to like go beyond what's expected, beyond just to save the person they love or that other person and do what's right in their eyes. And that sums up all of them, you know? What do they say about the disasters? It's like, it's almost like I think Shinkai is saying that these disasters are kind of like, of course, they're all feats of nature that are beyond us, act of God, they say. But it's like our reaction to them. How do they make us feel? How do we deal with them? It's almost like he's encouraging us to like really think about these things. Think about how, even if you're someone who was touched by the tragedies more closely than like people who were like in another city or something, your town wasn't devastated, but the one next to you was. Think about those people. Like, think about what they're going through, you know? And then he just mixed in humor and love and all the kind of stuff. I like how all the themes kind of came to one. It wasn't overdoing it in either of the films.
Exactly.
And I think Suzume was... And this was my first time watching an anime in the theater. I never watched an anime in the movie theaters. I always watched them online or on TV... Or I bought the movie, like I bought Naruto the last, which was the last Naruto movie. I bought that and watched it on Amazon.
You know what?
I think it's the same for me. I've never watched an anime film in the theater, and I like the scope.
I liked it too. I think this was also the only time I've watched an anime in the theater.
But not all of them come. It's almost like it has to be something like on this Miyazaki and Shinkai status.
You know what? Another thing I've learned or noticed, I feel like Shinkai is almost like Disney-esque. Because I'm like... The parent thing, because you know what they say about parents in like Disney movies. It's always so very tragic. Right. And I'm like, dude, this parent thing. I mean, well, what's his name? In Weathering with You. Hodoka. Ostensibly, both his parents were alive, but it's like you never saw them. He was like trying to get away from him, but like almost all the other ones.
Well, he kept saying that he felt suffocated, so they didn't go into what was suffocating him. But it was like I read somewhere, because I read some articles and I'll share some of them. But I read somewhere that a lot of times the youth feel very suffocated in the rural areas, countryside areas, where they don't feel like they always end up moving or running away. Or moving to a bigger city because they feel like they don't feel so suffocated. Like he said, when he got to Tokyo, he said he didn't feel suffocated, even though a big city like that with so many people could make people feel like that. But he didn't.
And that's interesting that you say that, because then it also ties back into Suzume. Because remember what she said to her aunt? She was like,
she felt like Suzume
suffocating.
Was smothering her.
Yeah, you're smothering me. I'm like, very interesting.
And I was like, so taking care of you, smothering, but she wanted. I think she wanted she wanted Tamaki to like live her life more because she didn't want that guilt of like you have to give up your life for her. Who's going to take care? Like, it's all things people talk about. If you have a child, it was almost like who's going to date you and all that kind of stuff. And it was just like, no, you should go on dates. You should go live a life. Like, don't worry about me all the time. And she just couldn't. But I think what I liked is that Tamaki and her came to an understanding, a better understanding at the end of the film, and I like that because I didn't like it leaving it like how she was, because I was like Suzume, you're being rude. I was like, you need to respect your aunt because she took care of you. Like, you could have been in one of those institutions.
Not just took care of you, because taking care of someone is kind of a low standard.
She loved
exactly
her. Yeah,
love
the way she
because
took care of her too.
When you go by that standard, then the Dursleys took care of Harry Potter.
They took care of him, but they loved her. Right? You're right. She loved her, did things for her, sacrificed her youth and things she wanted to do. Like, she wanted to marry. I mean, I'm sorry. She kind of missed the guy that was right there with her. I was like, this guy that works for you is right here. Yeah. Caring about, I was like, maybe you need to look right here for the guy. But okay. He didn't care that he was like, Suzume's in trouble. Let me help.
Thirsty. Like, everybody in the office, like, he is trying real hard.
I know, but it wasn't thirst to me. It was like love.
Okay,
It was love and concern.
That's not
thirst
the best
is
word.
Something totally different.
It was obvious, I guess is what I'm saying.
Obvious,
like,
yes. It was obvious.
Everybody could see it.
Conspicuous love for Tamaki. And he was like, Suzume's in trouble? I'm gonna be off work too. And that's why I was like, that's the guy you need. Go for him.
Yes.
Go for him. Anyway.
And I was getting a little concerned with Sota's friend, because I'm like, because at first it was kind of looking like she might be kind of like drifting towards him.
I thought so too, but then I just think they were just being chill, so it's cool.
Yeah, because anyway, I was like, no, but he loves you so much and he's helping you.
Anyway, I think we should go into the ratings now. Well, that doesn't mean,
sorry, I gotta say one thing though, because I remember like what was it? Something I read like years ago talking about like the quote unquote nice guy, and they were like, you got to be careful of the nice guy, because some quote unquote nice guys use niceness as almost like a transactional, like, put in niceness, get out sex. So just because someone's nice to you
You're
doesn't mean they're owed your a relationship or something like that. So I just wanted to correct.
That vibe from him either. You're right. I just felt like I feel like if he was just about that, he would not be like, let me run and help you.
Yeah, but I just wanted to correct what I said about he was so, he loved you, he was so nice and everything, because that's, everybody out there, don't use that as a standard. Just because someone is nice to you does not mean you owe them a relationship.
Beware of nice guys.
Exactly.
Good guys is what you need to look for. Nice. Be careful. Anyway, I think this is kind of a long episode.
This is probably a record episode.
Right, I think so. And I think because we kind of talked about all three, but this is really about Suzume. Maybe we should just name this one the Disaster Trilogy. Maybe we should. It's like, okay, we're doing the Disaster Trilogy. But no, let's just rate Suzume.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just rate Suzume, because that's the one we went into the theater and saw, and that one just came out. You can also watch this on Crunchyroll if you have a Crunchyroll subscription. So y'all go ahead and watch that. Yeah, Suzume is out on Crunchyroll as well.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Or you can go on the fishy sites like I did. Anyway, but that was to watch
Avoid the fishy sites. I don't know why Bola's sitting on the fishy sites when she just got a new computer. It's like she just
I put an ad blocker on and I keep it moving. I can watch my stuff, right?
But I gotta tell you guys, you're gonna have to probably, you can go with Bola's suggestion, or you can actually rent it like I did for Your Name. But Weathering With You is actually on HBO Max.
Thank you for letting them know, because I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So my rating for Suzume is I'm definitely giving it 9 glasses, because it wasn't like a 10 to me, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And that feeling that I got of sense of wanting to be an adventure, and that feeling of hope and positivity I got at the end. And what spoke to me really was like her conversation with her younger self.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just came full circle. And I even like that they recognize in time, like, oh, yeah, her and Soda don't need to be together right now. But then he came back. Mm-hmm. He had things to do, but he came back.
Yeah.
She brought him back. All this stuff just made it positive to me. I love the animation. It was beautiful. The music was great.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. It was a good watch. And I went by myself and watched it, and I was chilling. So I had a good time, actually. So 9 glasses from me.
You know what? There's a lot of synergy today, because I also give it 9 glasses.
All right. So you guys have a 9 glasses from your Blerd girls. Triple F Queen. No tagline with.
Right. We didn't have to do any messy math today.
Yeah, no contact lenses, no monocles. So I'm thinking you guys honestly go watch Suzume in Crunchyroll or in the theater, because the theater was, like I said, it was my first time watching this kind of film in the theater, and I've never seen it on the big screen.
And it's worth it.
It's very awesome.
It's so beautiful. It's
beautiful
actually
to watch on the big screen.
Yeah, it really is.
Right. So I also recommend watching all the other Shinkai movies in the Disaster Trilogy. If you haven't, we talked about them. The first one you should watch is Your Name.
Period.
The second one is called
FYI,
Your Name. Period. The second one is called Weathering With You, and then go watch Suzume. Also, there's some other Shinkai movies I'm actually going to go look into. There's one called Garden of Words, but I'm going to try and watch that later.
Okay.
Because I miss the Miyazaki-san stuff, and I'm really getting that from him in a new age, a new way. In a new animation style, so I'm very happy.
I'm loving it, yeah. And
all
just
right,
bring your tissues, y'all, because you're
gonna
be tearing up through.
And I don't know what it is about anime. I still don't know what it is about anime that gets you, but it's not just for kids. It's just a great medium to express things, and I still enjoy it. Yep.
It is.
It can go either way.
Speaking of how you were talking about, I think you said Your Name was like second or third.
It's the first one in the trilogy.
I mean, grossing in Japan.
Oh, yeah. Your Name is like second grossing animation film of all time.
I think I read that Suzume is 4th right now.
Oh, yeah, because it's doing well. It's doing well. It's actually doing well, and I like Suzume. Some people didn't like Weathering With You as much. But I liked Weathering With You too.
Yeah, I like them for different reasons.
Very good. I like it for different reasons.
I like the storyline in Your Name, like the plot, I guess I should say.
The plot was cool.
Most. Well, not most, because I'm going to have to separate Suzume from the first two. But between Your Name and Weathering With You, I like the plot best for Your Name, but the emotional kind of...
The emotional draw in
Weathering With You
was more to me, too.
Exactly.
I felt like I was more emotionally connected to Weathering With You than Your Name.
I agree.
Because I like Your Name, but I thought I'd give Your Name like an 8. and Weathering with You just struck me more. So I would give Your Name and Suzume. I mean, I would give Weathering with You and Suzume a 9.
Okay.
Glasses, yeah. Just because, I don't know, something about Weathering with You. Just, I really, really, like, I liked it more than Your Name. And Your Name was the big blowout hit. But I was like, Your Name is good. Your Name is very good. But I was like, I really like Weathering with You.
I do.
I'd watch I'd watch all of them again anyway.
I would too. I can't even say that I liked Weathering with You more. It's just like you said, the emotional, like the way it emotionally connects with you is stronger in Weathering with You. But since the storyline is just like awesome in Your Name,
there's so much happening in Weathering with You. There's so much happening in Weathering with You. So many plot, like, it just goes, and you're just, like, following their life, you know? So, I agree. All the films have a lot of things, but the story is very interesting because you have the body swapping in Your Name. So, that part is really fun. And then the whole twist, too, was also... So, Your Name has, like, really good storytelling elements, which I'll bump up more.
Yes.
You know? It's almost like it's not as linear...
Right, exactly.
As Weathering with You is, but there's something about that emotional draw.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just stronger. The way Tohoku was fighting for that girl, I was like,
right?
Yo, I could not stop looking at my screen. Like, I didn't want to go to the bathroom.
Right? Exactly.
Anyway, we could talk on forever.
It's you can tell that these are both, like, all three of these are his movies, but between, like, Your Name and Weathering with You, it's almost slightly like an apples and oranges thing.
Right. You just gotta see which one you like better. And then Suzume is like, what we going to berries, like some berries.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just all different fruits, so you like them in different ways. Anyway, guys, we have talked long enough. So we are just gonna say, please go watch it, enjoy it, and we're gonna blur it out now. All right.
All right.
Bye, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you in May for our new episodes.
Giggity.
Bye. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe to our show on whatever podcast listening app you use, and share the show with other Blurs and non-Blurs family and friends. And if you like this episode, please subscribe to our email newsletter at blerdtalkbw.ck.page, and also rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts.
Intro and outro music is Twilight by Caption. You can find them on SoundCloud, username Caption spelled CAPSHUN. Show notes by Bola, Hanson, audio engineering by Whitney Booker.
And don't forget to get social, you guys. You can email us at blerdtalkbw@gmail.com. And our social media handles on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is at BlerdTalkBW. And our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@BlerdTalkBW. And we've got our individual things going on too. You can find the Triple F Queen on Instagram at Triple F Queen B as in boy. And my YouTube channel is youtube.com/@Triple F Queen B.
And you can find me, Whitney, at Luminabi Studios, my company, and the email address is wit@luminabi.com, spelled WHIT @LUMENABI.com. And you can also find me on Twitter at Luminabi Studios.